Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds. It is Monday morning, and my Kansas City Chiefs are finally back to 500.
Played well, and this was a big win for them over the Detroit Lions, 30-17. I think what made it more impressive was the fact the Lions had a 4-game winning streak going, shooting for number 5. But the Lions team is also decimated by injuries. But injuries are part of the game, and you put pro players in there in the defensive backfield where they have the most injuries. Now, Patrick Mahomes took full advantage of it. He hit 22 of 30 passes, and that is a really big deal. 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. You knew this was going to happen because Mahomes and the Chiefs, that's part of football. You take advantage of the breaks that are given you. Now, 355 yards of total offense tells it all, and the Chiefs haven't had 112 yards in rushing. That was the key. But the fact is, the Kansas City defense made life miserable for Jared Goff. They only had 98 yards rushing, and he had 199 passing, but they couldn't really get their game together, principally because of the attack that they had in mind, and that was ball control. They ran the ball, ran it, trying to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. Well, that's going to last for a while, but not forever. And, in fact, that's the key. The Chiefs were considerably better than the Detroit Lions, and now, as you mentioned, they are 500 on the year and playing well. All the other teams in the AFC West, including the Las Vegas Raiders, won yesterday, and the Raiders are next up for Kansas City, and that'll be coming up next Sunday. But the fact is that the Chiefs need to keep winning, and did win 30-17, the final score, and that's a big win for them.
It is a big win. Couple things. You see the fight after the game?
I did on tape. I have not seen it. Didn't see it happen in person because I was long in Z's land by then. But I did see it, and it was the fault of both players. Both of them will get penalized for it.
Branch is going to get suspended.
Hold on. Branch is the one who struck the first blow. That's there on the tape. But Juju Smith-Schuster retaliated. Now, we would too, probably in the case, but I would suspect Smith-Schuster will get fined, but Branch will get suspended.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. No. Yeah, all happened, and it was a major brawl. The teams don't like each other, and who knows? They could play again in the Super Bowl somewhere along the line. Detroit's a pretty good team when they are healthy, and they are not healthy right now. Chiefs are getting back there, and next week is when Rashee Rice makes his return. Kansas City will be all that much better. The sun is shining on the Kansas City Chiefs right now.
Well, it was a good Sunday night football after weeks and weeks of mistakes, and again, they did look complete. I really thought, I've been paying a lot of attention to the defensive backfield for the Chiefs ever since Trent McDuffie was a guest on the Kingdom Show a couple of weeks ago, because he was talking about how, for the first time, he's been in a room with so many backs that can literally play any position in that backfield. So I've been watching the formations, and last night there were so many times that Spags flipped rotation right, like the way kind of linebackers play up on the line to make you think that they're going to blitz or they're not or whatever, and they make moves. The D-backs are doing the same thing. It's really cool to watch.
Well, when you disguise a blitz, and you can disguise it professionally, you have a major advantage. Now, if teams don't see it coming, you can pay the price for it, and there are ways of overcoming that. But Kansas City plays it well, and they do a lot of stunting on their front line. It's a good program that they have, and heck, McDuffie is one of the defensive captains on that team. He's a good player. All-America at Washington. He may have flown under the radar a little bit because of his defensive capabilities, but he can play, and it's a good team. I've said all along, I don't care what they have done early in the season. It's a Super Bowl caliber team, and I'll maintain that allegiance to them in a way. That doesn't mean I'm allegiant. I have allegiance to them from a personal standpoint, but by the same token, they're a good ball club.
I appreciate that, Ned, especially since I know what colors you bleed. Playoffs continued yesterday. Early, I thought the Blue Jays might be in control of their own destiny, but I can't agree with that decision, pulling the starter like that. I don't know why Toronto did that.
Well, they have to, because they've been through a really difficult series, and it cost them a little bit in a sense. But by the same token, Seattle did the same thing with Bryce Miller, and he came through and pitched very well. Former relief pitcher at Texas A&M, and what did he do? Held the Toronto Blue Jays to 2 hits, and that's pretty doggone good. Seattle Mariners get the win, folks. It's Seattle 3 and the Toronto Blue Jays 1 in the first game. Now, these are all best-of-7 series, so it's 2 in Toronto, including today, then 3 in Seattle, and then 2, if necessary, back in Toronto again. Okay, that's the key. That gives Toronto the home field advantage, which they do have. But those 3 in the middle, that's very important. How did the Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners match up? Well, they're both slugging teams. They both can hit the long ball. George Springer had a leadoff home run for Toronto to start the game. Well, that got the crowd all jacked up, but that was it. That was one of 2 hits that Toronto had all game long. Now, here come the Mariners, and who ties up the ball game? Of course, Cal Raleigh with a home run. That's probably, number 64 on the season, somewhere around there. And indeed, the game's 1-1. Then the Mariners came back with several more hits, got a couple of runs in, and win the game 3-1. Bryce Miller, who got the start, and he was a relief pitcher in college, but a very top draft choice by the Seattle Mariners. Pitched 6 innings and allowed 2 hits, and they were the only 2 hits that the Toronto Blue Jays had in the game. That's some big-time pitching in a playoff situation. So Seattle is up by 1-0 over Toronto, but there are still 6 more games remaining, and the National League game starts today.
We, I thought, had another pretty crazy weekend in college football. I really feel like the Tigers, if they had had a full, healthy receiving core, probably could have beat Alabama in that game.
I'm going to differ with you.
Really?
Alabama is not the Alabama that they have been. And watching that game, I thought, gosh, if Nick Saban had this team, they would have run Mizzou out of the ballpark. But by the same token, this is not a strong Alabama team, and Missouri still couldn't beat them. And the answer is, in my opinion, the soft schedule that Missouri plays at the start of the year. Cream Puff Tech. Now, I know it's going to result in some people coming down on my neck because of that. But it, quite honestly, is not the strongest schedule. Well, here comes Alabama, and it's a good but not great Alabama team, and wins it 27-24. Final score is a little misleading because Missouri did make a big comeback. Alabama was playing soft in the defensive backfield, that vaunted prevent defense. But Bama has some deficiencies in their team, and that's going to catch up with them. They have LSU remaining. I believe they have Texas A&M on the schedule, so does Missouri. But the fact is that it's a good Alabama team, but not a great one. They will be in the rankings. Missouri, unfortunately, will slip a little bit. The key is this. The final playoff rankings don't come until the end of this month, October 31st. That's the first one, and then each week until the playoffs are decided. I think Missouri will be in the hunt for a top 12 position, but they've got to come on and play. They have Auburn coming up this weekend down in eastern Alabama, and that won't be easy. Could have made a big deal with the Tide, but could not pull it off.
And guys, just remember, if you're a Mizzou fan, Ned's the one who said it, not me. We also had a little bit of racing going on in Sin City. How'd that one shake down?
That goes to Denny Hamlin. They raced the South Point 400, is what that's called on the NASCAR circuit. This is one of the few remaining regular season races. There are 2 more, and then the championship November 2nd in Las Vegas. I beg your pardon, in Phoenix, Arizona is where they're going to have it. But Denny Hamlin takes the checkered flag, and starting next week, they'll be down to the final 4. And now that doesn't mean only 4 racers. Everybody races. But by the same token, these are the 4 who have accrued enough points to be eligible for the championship of NASCAR. And that will be decided on November 2nd in Phoenix.
Ned, you have yourself a wonderful Monday, and I will see you mañana.